These days, every investor feels like they're trading with one ass cheek out the window while being chased by an ostrich. We're out looking for answers, guys. And I've been talking to a ton of investors, institutional ones, fund managers, private ones like myself. Everyone has some thoughts around this. I've consolidated a lot of these ideas. I would like to share with you some of the good ones. This way, we can all get through this together and probably make some money along the way. Please hit that like button so we can get started. Like all investments, it's really about bankroll management. There's a risk and a reward associated with every investment, and depending on the amount of risk that you're going to take for the amount of reward that you're going to get back, you would invest differently. And so with that said, the first question you want to ask yourself is this a COVID market crash, or are we in the beginning of a recession? Because if this is an isolated event specific to the COVID crash, then we're still in a bubble before the recession. That means that as a swing trader, you will trade very differently. One of the benefits of being able to trade during a bubble is that it's like a poker game where everyone is playing a lot more loose because there's a lot more gamblers. And so any bet that you make correctly, every investment that you make correctly, there's an opportunity for much higher gain than if you were not in a bubble. That being said, there's merits in both perspectives, whether you think that this is an isolated event, that we're still in a bubble, versus we are in the beginning of a recession. Let's talk about them separately, and let's imagine that we're still in a bubble first. So what can we learn from this COVID catastrophe that can help us make the right decisions in a swing trade? There are two main things that we can learn from this COVID catastrophe. One is that during a mass hysteria, every single stock, whether good or bad, is going to tank. We saw this in probably about a 2-week period where every single stock dropped by about 30%. The second thing that we learned is that eventually, if you're willing to not be a part of the mass hysteria, the market eventually comes back. You can see that companies that are actually affected by a COVID-like incident where the company needs to shut down because they can't operate, those stocks crashed even harder. Gas stations, airlines. But the ones that are a lot less affected and probably actually have benefited from it, like Netflix, they've grown exceptionally well. And we can find more gems like Netflix, because Netflix is just one that everyone talks about, but there's a whole, or rather several categories that falls into this situation where they're actually gaining market shares and gaining users during a crisis like COVID. That's effectively what this video is about. If you think that we're not in a recession, if you think that we're still in a bubble, a dip has happened, and this is an opportunistic time to buy. With that idea in mind, there are 3 main categories of investments that I will make. If you can find a company that falls within one of these 3 categories, there's probably a gain to be had. A lot of the times, people look at a company as a whole. So Netflix, for example, as a whole has gained from COVID. But it's less obvious when you look at a company where the majority has gained from it. For example, Microsoft, a huge percentage of their business is about office productivity. And a large percentage of that is made up of remote office productivity. For example, their remote meetings, Skype, for example, all of their office software and the cloud storage solutions, they're all effectively empowering people to work remotely. And they probably have benefited greatly because of this market crash. Similarly, if you look at a company like Google, search is inevitable and is probably an even bigger idea now that we're all stuck at home having nothing else to do. Home fitness is also a big deal. Right now, the only company that I know that really stands out that's public is Peloton, and I have a video around that, right? When a situation like this occurs, there's going to be a pull-through effect where customers who are holding off on making a purchase for a subscription or a product, now they're forced to make that purchase. And so these companies that sell those type of products have benefited from COVID. If a company whose the majority of their business is about remote productivity or home fitness or personal gaming, and if they have good engagement and retention, then those customers will stay with these products going forward. Ultimately, what that means is that they got free marketing with incredible user growth. That should be reflected in the earnings coming up. That also means that if you're a swing trader investing on earnings, this is a really, really great time. Regardless of whether it's COVID or a tsunami or earthquakes, global warming, a lot of these products can sustain those natural disasters, and therefore I recommend them if you're preceding more natural disasters because of global warming, for example. If you think that we're in a recession, we will trade very differently, right? But if you think that we're still in a bubble, then there's still gains to be had. And what I'm saying is that some of these gains are not recognized correctly because people are not evaluating the fact that they're actually benefiting a lot more than you think because of a COVID catastrophe. Now, do I think we're in a recession? No. I actually do think that we're in the tail end of a bubble and we're getting very, very close to a recession. This is why I'm still actively trading. I'm also trading with about 50% of what I usually trade with so that I protect my bankroll as well. I highly, highly suggest that you do at least that if you're a risky investor like I am. However, if you're a more careful trader, then I highly recommend that you set out. If you're a careful trader, I frankly don't recommend that you swing trade in the first place. If you're looking for recession-proof stocks, then I would definitely exercise a slightly different strategy. If you're looking for those tips and tricks, please hit subscribe and it will be in a video coming up soon. I hope you found this content useful. Please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. And this is a community where I want to make sure that we all win and build this community together with your help. So I look forward to working with you next time, and good luck.